Hello, now we've introduced you to our sensors, to our board, and also introduced you to the helicopter and then the servos as well. So the next thing we will do is show you the controls, how the autopilot or the aviation system can control the servos, because it needs to control them, so it needs to know how to control them. So our call Marcus will help me with that. So what I will do, I will do the code from here, and then Marcus will do the explanations. Alright.
Okay, so basically what we are doing now is to set our servers to where they are working just or they are getting their signals. So I think the first thing we'll do is the radar server, right? So you can see the radar server moving. What it's doing is it's doing a full sweep to check whether it's working well. And you can see the blade, the pitch of the tail also moving as the servo also moves. You change the pitch. And that's it. Now we have the elevator servo. You can see it moving the swash plate, tilting the swash plate up or down. Then we have the aileron servo also making it full sweep. We have this one also making it sweep. Just to prove that, to show you that these things were built to work independently, but we modified them to make them move together for the banking movement.
Okay, so now that we have full control over our servers, remember we're not using any of the receiver or the transmitter to do that, so we're just using our microcontroller connected via this cable here. So that's a controller via the cable to the servers. Okay. So the next thing we'll do is, okay, read from the sensors, because it needs to know how to control the servers. It also needs to know how to read from the sensors and detect something. Okay, so we'll show you that code now. Okay. So this is the screen. It has got the menus here. You can see the first one is test servers, which we've already done. The second one is read from sensors, which we will do now, and then afterwards we will do the electronic speed control test, which is the power, because it also needs to know how to control the power. So reading from sensors. Okay. So it starts sensor manager, and that preview here is because other sensors starting up. So then in here what we have is the data is reading from the sensors. Okay, you can see we have heading, object front, object bottom. Then we also have, let me just clear that to refresh it. Yeah, we also have the longitude, latitude, that's from the GPS, and then we also have a GPS heading and a GPS altitude. Right now our heading is showing 32, but if I move it, you can see that it's also changing. Alright. Then the tri-axis, if I move it sideways, you can see that it's also changing. So this shows that, yeah, we can read from all our sensors. Okay, so now we go on to the next step, and the next step is now, how do you control power? Fine, you can control your service, you can read from your sensors. Then how would you control power? Because being an autopilot, you need to know when to power up, when to power down, you know, when to bank or yaw, or when to pitch up or push down. Okay, so the next bit will be how the ESC works. The ESC stands for electronic speed controller, and then Markup will show us where the ESC is and then what it controls.
Now this is the ESC. It controls the brushless motor here. It uses AC. The battery will supply this DC, but this speed controller converts this to AC so that we use it to control the brushless motor. Now you can see there are 3 cables here. The black is for the ground. Now these 2 pins determine the direction of rotation of the motor. So in this configuration, it will move in the clockwise direction. If you interchange the red and the blue, you have it moving in the opposite direction. But that's not what we want, so we'll keep it like this.
Okay, we'll demonstrate how the ESC works. So let's load the code for it. Okay. So now you've heard it start beeping, and that long beep, it means that the ESC is armed and ready. Okay, so I'll press any key. Now what it's trying to do is it's going to build up speed from 0% to 7%. Now let's see what happens. So it's going at 2% now. So 2 points is not enough to drive it. So it goes 4 and it starts. And you can see that it's building power now. See, I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching it. So now the microcontroller is controlling the ESC all by itself. Okay, so now because of demonstration purposes, you have to show all of this steps, right? So the next step is it's going to set itself to set the ESC to 10%. So all I would do is just press any key to continue. So I'll just press any key. Okay, and watch what happens there. So that is 10%. Okay, so we want to go back to idle. I just press any key again. Then it will go back to idle. Okay. So the next step is interactive, meaning that we can actually tell it what speed to set the ESC. Okay, so I'll go for 20%, so I'll just enter 20. So what happens? So this is like 20% of the maximum speed. Okay, now let's see what 30% is like. So this is 30%. Now let's go back to 10%. And that is 10%. Okay, so that's the interactive. Okay, that means that we can set it to any. Now this is going to be 50%. Alright, so the next bit is going to be, because you can control it via the keyboard terminal, right? You can also be able to control it via some buttons here. So that's what the next step is going to be. So I'll let not actually do that first. So by pressing those two buttons you have on the board, you can do that.
I'm going to increase speed. Now I'm coming down. Going up.
So now this shows that we have three ways of adjusting the speed. Man can actually do it automatically, or via the keyboard terminal. You tell it, okay, you set the speed to 20%, and it will set it there. Or you can use those two buttons to do it. But it's going to be autonomous, right? So the master control will be doing it all by itself. Okay, and this brings us to the end of the demonstration for how to control the ESC.